Love to welcome everybody to the Independent Investor Channel live stream. It is one of the most unnatural things on this earth to incur losses in the stock market or go through volatility where the downside is somewhat prolonged. I'm totally with you. And until the availability of information, just constant information, it really wasn't possible to um, talk about what's going on, why things are going on the way that they are. We really for a long time there, and I'm talking about what our outlets were in investing and where the financial planners. There's books written on this, guys, about the psychology of the markets and retail investors specifically being unarmed to deal with the investing volatility. Somebody asked me today, what do you think, Ryan? How does it feel? I said, it feels a little different for me. I've been talking about this for the last couple months on the channel, and you never really know if it's going to be one of those hiccups in the market or it's going to be something a little bit more systemic. Obviously, there are some impacts to the market. I don't think any of them really are systemic. I think some are bubbling. I've talked about the real estate market for quite some time, which is somewhat cumbersome to me or worrisome. And then everybody's talking about the interest rates potential for this year. That's what's going on right now as the stock market is looking to price in some of those moves as well. But to be honest with you, in my daily monitorings of the portfolio and the progress that's being made, I've been um, slowly seeing an undercurrent for the last probably 3 months. I would call it 90 days. I would. 90 days of undercurrent of stocks, not only from a broad market perspective, that were being propped up by some of the largest companies that make up the indices. Apple, Microsoft, Google, not so much Amazon. Amazon's really been off for the last year and a half. It's underperformed the market, and it's really providing some interesting opportunities now to start to look at some of these companies for the long term. And so that's really kind of my pulse a little bit. It is absolutely unnatural. There's no doubt about it. This is where people look at the market and they're like, "What the hell am I doing?" You look at it in the short term, or you look at people and people start talking about it now, and people start talking about, see, I told you so. And, for the previous half a dozen large YouTube channels out there that are talking about the stock market crashing, they figure eventually they'll get it right. So, when it does hiccup a little bit and then it goes back up again, those types of things die down a little bit. The grumblings go away a little bit, and then when things like this crop up, boom, you've got all the naysayers coming out and talking about the hell in a handbasket, and everybody needs to start running and jumping headfirst into their prepper bunkers. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if any of that really has any credence at all in explaining the stock market in any type of productive way. I think it's a lovely way to garner an audience by playing into people's emotions. I think that works. I think that works well. You look at the last four titles of my live streams, you know, I put stock market crash. When I think of the word crash, I automatically think of and relate it to an airplane. I automatically make that connection when I hear the word crash. Um, Me personally, I know a lot of people want to associate it with the stock market in explaining what's going on right now, and that is a correction for a lot of the broad markets. And again, this is if you track it back and look at, for example, the NASDAQ. I uploaded one video this week, and it was with my interview with Lior Gantz. Lior's with uh, Wealth Management Group. He's a friend of the channel. I've known him now for a while, and it's always a very riveting interview when he comes on. But he was talking about kind of a historical event in the NASDAQ, in that 50% of the companies that are actually in a 50% retracement now. And 40% of them are 40% down. It was really crazy, really being propped up by some of the larger companies that represent a larger chunk of the indice. but the underpin of the market right now is really bad. It feels bad. I went through my worst week, I think, probably this week. I don't confirm this, nor deny it. The absolute worst week I've ever had as an investor. To be quite honest with you, my attention has been elsewhere. I've been preoccupied with associating the channel, redoing my LLC. I've just finished that. A lot of back and forth with my accountant, and really kind of got that stuff squared away. Um, so kind of putting myself on a course with some of the products that we put forward without a whole lot of validation behind it, other than my sheer belief that we are providing value on the bottom line. Case in point, the Viper Group, one of my most favorite products that I put out there. I think it's great. Got a few Vipers in the group here. I got Chris Blaine in the group, who's just been a friend of the channel for a long, long time. Really speaks to the network that we're looking to advocate for. Provide this fastest 60 minutes on YouTube to talk about. Well, there's a lot to talk about. To provide that coaching element, and to know that retail investors like myself can come on, and I guess it would be hella entertaining if I could just come on and do backflips for you guys and start yelling and screaming at you and starting to tell you to sell everything because your money's not going to be worth anything next week. I just can't do that. I've lived my life, and my expectations through living life is not that everything is hunky dory all the time. And I think that's somewhat of a fallacy now, especially when you start to get involved with stock market investing. And you see a landscape, especially through social media, that is fraught with, look, if you just do what I do, you can have the Lamborghini too. And the stock market is just not conducive to that type of activity. It's not. And the unfortunate part about it, I think, is when there's a lot of investors that get involved with the markets on the onset, they enjoy a little bit of success, because most of the time the stock market does slightly go up and to the right. And then, out of the blue, or at least by my admission, I've been kind of watching the underpin of the market for the last 90 days. And it's really been kind of rolling off. And when that roll off happens, it happens somewhat violently. And I think over the last, since the start of the year anyway, I think people have really kind of caught notice, and it's taken some people by surprise. I knew it would. The last 11 years has just been absolutely fabulous for market investors. There's no way in hell that I sit on the network without conducive markets. And those folks out there that are running, 401ks, stay the course. There's no reason to defer from the program that you've built up over many, many years. I think it seems like it unwinds quickly in a couple weeks of time, and you look at it and you say, geez Louise, this is crazy. I've built up to X number of an amount, and now boom, I take a retracement. I mean, my retracement this week was pretty handily noticeable for me. It was like, interesting. Acknowledged, thank you very much. Not even with the courtesy of a reach around on that one. It was a rough one for me. Really kicked in the growing all week. It was nice, it was lovely. But like I declared on Twitter, I have enormous balls. So I come on to share a perspective for you guys to know that anytime your natural instinct kind of comes into your mind with regard to making sense of the stock market, it's probably wrong. Um, Typically, when you're allowed to look at the market and let yourself go down this slippery slope of trying to justify what it is that you're doing in financial markets, at the time where it is just correcting. That's it. Maybe that's the explanation in and of itself. Maybe there's nothing rational behind it to say that, oh, I don't know, maybe you're a bad person. Maybe you're a bad investor. Maybe you ill-timed the market. Maybe that guy on YouTube, that independent fella, maybe he got you all motivated and fired up, and now you've been investing for all of a couple weeks or a month or 6 months or whatever, and you're incurring a little bit of volatility. Here's the deal. There is no better learnings that the stock market can dole out than being involved in financial markets. That you can take to the effing bank. Just take it to the bank, put it in your back pocket. For you guys that missed it, I will say it the hell again. You want to sit on the sideline and be a critic, or you want to be a fan of the stock market, wonderful and plenty. But until you get involved with stock market investing, and there's people from a wide ranging, a wide spectrum of investors. Those with $1,000 are working toward that first thousand, and those investors, even in the group here, who represent seven-figure portfolios. Does the application change that much across that spectrum in how we look at volatility, especially from day to day? It is futile. We acknowledge it. We talk about it. I title my YouTube video so I can get 1,000 views on my live stream. I'd like to think that people come in and they want my calm voice through what is really kind of quantified now as somewhat of a storm, or maybe the start of a storm, or something that is a little bit abnormal to the market going slowly up and to the right all the time. Okay. There's a little bit of an interest to me. Some of the markets, I think the entire cryptocurrency community probably should be thanking me. I probably wrecked the entire market before the Chinese could do it. I've said this before. I thought cryptocurrency was just the most brilliant of financial espionage acts that I've ever seen. I mean, what a wonderful way to not only attack us with biopharma, but also with financial espionage. It's absolutely fabulous idea, and it's working too, because you notice that Bitcoin rolls off right the same as the market. Bitcoin now dipped below the 40,000. I think it might be the mid 30s tonight. I checked it today. Interesting enough, and so you're welcome to all the crypto. It's worth the $2,500 that I put into Bitcoin in my Roth IRA, and I've become an investor, right, in my little share, 4/10 of my portfolio in cryptocurrency, right? Hell, to be honest with you, it's worth the $2,500 to just shut those folks up. I would lose it all. I don't even care. I don't get it as far as like a swing trading type of a thing. I put the stock in there with no promise at all of return on my investment, whatever the hell that means. Because when you put it into a Roth IRA, the ability to render those profits off, I could roll it back into my other Roth IRA if it does go bananas on me. But it's done nothing but just absolutely go bananas. It went from 30 all the way up to 67. Now it's all the way back down into the 30s. How in the hell are you supposed to make sense of that? And a lot of you guys in the group may be a hell of a lot more apt to answer that question than I am. I'm just here to give you a dose of reality. What's working right now in the U.S. stock market is value, and value is working right now. Value's working. It's always that old illness, man. I can't invest in a company like Kimberly-Clark, man. They produce toilet paper. How can we do such a thing? Procter and Gamble, Clorox, all of our staples, Pepsi, Coca-Cola's holding in here nice. REITs, I think, are showing some interesting underpin of strength. And then, of course, energy, which nobody wanted to even talk about, let alone invest in last year, was the outperformer. So go figure on some of the pockets here of the market. Utilities were on fire today. And that's another reason why I hold the VPU in my Roth IRA. That's one of the few bright spots. I'm not going to tell you that there was a lot of bright spots. To be honest with you, it was a bloodbath throughout the entire week, compounded by my absolute war with me not seeing the big picture with Hylion Holdings. So I do apologize for misleading and not accepting the current market action on Hylion Holdings, which is the largest holding in my portfolio right now. I should just shut my trap and stop questioning the status quo. So if that's what you guys want me to do, I won't do that. This is my dry humor. No, I won't do that. I speak up. I say what I see. I don't expect you guys to be perfect. Hell, say what you see. I have no problem with that. Say what you see, man. Say your piece. If I come across as angry, interesting enough, I had a nice review. I was supposed to have PJ on, and he may be in the gallery getting all dialed in. But if PJ Ski comes on, I'm going to have him as a guest as well. made an observation of my Hylion videos that was right on point. And my constructive feedback to PJ surprised him a little bit because, well, first and foremost, Americans aren't very good at taking scrutiny nor giving scrutiny. Let's just be real. Europeans are much better at having competitive dialogue and being okay with it and not ending up in the street throwing blows at each other. Um, but I thought his observation of me was right on point. He said, Ryan, it seems like you're angry when you're putting through the Hylion videos. I said, well, when I'm talking about that specific topic, certainly. I think, with the wrong sequence of timing on the rollout of this thing, and just rolling out a ton of good news and then incurring a supply chain delay, I think they're tapped out for information right now. So all they have is a quick photo of the Hypertruck ERX in the office there, and they post that and they think that that's going to move the needle. It's not going to move the needle. Paul Cardo with Rat Pack Stocks gave a great, great video this week on deeming Hylion Holdings still a SPAC for meeting all the characteristics of a SPAC. In other words, if it didn't make revenue now, could it go IPO like it did via SPAC? The answer is no. And just presuming that their financials haven't changed that radically from Q3 to Q4. So, some interesting things going on in the market right now, but, value's working. And I think a lot of people in the gallery, there was a pretty good strike up right now. Do you buy the total market or do you buy individual stocks? Are individual stocks too volatile to enter into right now? Is the market still too high to enter into broad markets, ETF, etc., those types of things? Those are all the deliberations that you should be asking. Here's the thing. If you were willing to buy the S&P at the beginning of December, why would you be less or more, or let me ask it this way, would you be less or more apt to enter into those positions now as opposed to then? See, I would answer for most people and say, hell no, Ryan, we can't touch it now. Well, why not? See, that's the reverse thought process. A lot of people are hitting me up and they're very, very concerned with my Hylion holdings, thinking that it was an absolute buy at 8. And now that it's at 4, and I'm actually buying more of the stock, that they're somehow concerned with me that, oh my goodness, it was okay to buy the stock at 8, 10, 11, 12. But now that I want to enter into a company that I have the exact same conviction on that I had 6 months ago, guys, let's be real. I mean, that's just me. That is my opinion. Could I be wrong? Yes. Yes, I could. I could be wrong, but I could also be right. Okay. And I find it interesting how there's a lot of people that come in and they say with conviction that they are right, that yes, indeed, the stock is doing this and this is how it's going to turn out. I don't believe in that. I've been conditioned to stray away from things like that. And PJ said, well, what about the $24 price target, Ryan? You guys have to understand, man, I am an advocate for retail investors. I am one of them. And where I feel like a lot of the times the retail investors are stuck on the outside with regard to information, number one. Number two, the inability to just call investor relations with Hylion Holdings and get some sort of, if any, response to the lackadaisical or non-existent performance with regard to the information that they put out there to the public. Three, if you're a hedge fund, you should be able to pick up the phone and call Thomas Ely directly. What in the hell is going on? What is the trajectory of this and how are we going to fix it? Advocacy. Advocates can step on, big shareholders can step on. Retailer investors, man, we don't have that type of luxury. Okay. So to defend the lack of transparency that's provided and feeling like retail investors are always kind of given the shaft all the time, it does not pain me at all to come on and look to defend those investors that are just trying to get ahead a little bit. Okay. So super important, guys. Really appreciate you. We're over 100 strong, man. Stick with us. Stick with us on the Independent Investor channel, man. These will be minutes well worth your time. Trust me. This is a super important thing to talk about. It's super important to engage in these conversations every week, no matter what the market's doing. You get the same Ryan no matter what. Like I said, I was indisposed this week with jiu-jitsu and some late night soccer and making some moves professionally and trying to get the Independent Investor channel pointed toward the horizon for the good of not only the community, but for the good of the mission as well, guys. We'll be back with you in just a second. Markets really are never a one track thing. Where the market goes down, opportunities will present itself. When opportunities are presenting themselves to the upside, it's amazing to me how everybody picks the wrong damn opportunity. Here's what I mean. How come everybody's so excited when the market goes up? Want to know how much buying I was doing at the top? I kept telling people, look, seems like the market's a little bit top heavy. Had one of my good friends in here, Mr. Michael Babcock, is in the group here, talking about the S&P valuation here at about 25 times. He's going to wait until it comes back to 15. You might be waiting a while. I think at some point over the last couple of years, there was a re-rating in the S&P. And where there's demand on the S&P for buyers to buy the product, it's going to drive the demand up and it's going to re-rate the price that folks are willing to pay. But looking forward to buying the dip, if that dip is long standing, you know, I've seen this many, many times where buying the dip happens prematurely and you sit on cash for a long, long time only to see the market boom, turn on a dime, and it's back up again. And the correction was a blip on the radar, which is what bear markets turn into over the long term anyway. But I will comment, looking forward to buying the dip. Here's my suggestion. If you do have cash on the side, buy little bits at a time, right? There's nothing prohibiting you from taking little bites at this market. If you're on the sideline or have been for many, many moons and you've been looking at the same thing as me, going into a multi-year, if not a decade and a couple of years of a bull market, which I think will continue. Lord Gantz alluded to this in my interview with him earlier on this week. He thought that the interest rates would affect markets up until the March Fed meeting. I have not verified that that's when the meeting is, but if they do decide to move, which I've been calling it for this for years, I think interest rates and all of the quantitative easing that's occurred and the artificially low interest rates have actually created somewhat of a vacuum. And I think interest rates moving up actually moves us into a little bit more of a normalized posture. The pandemic doesn't help. Neither does the labor force, which I think is a huge issue right now. I think labor markets are tough. I see it with my own eyes. And every business that we do business with in the federal government is like, we just don't have people. We don't have people that want to work anymore. Why the hell would you want to work, man? You can buy Shiba Inu and retire a week later. It's fabulous. I say that tongue in cheek because anybody who knows the truth knows I'm just pulling their leg. There is really no excuse at all. There's really no substitute. If you guys want to know, again, I'm providing a lot of nuggets for you guys tonight. The real nature of my success has zero, and I mean a big fat zero with an I2 in the middle, a big fat zero to do with the Independent Investor channel. It has everything to do with my career. Yep. You want to deal with stock market volatility, you want to deal with it. Well, have it be kind of an arm of your total program and not in its entirety where all of your wealth is stored. Okay. Do I trust financial markets? No, I don't. Do I have enough faith in the regulatory system and our financial markets and the oversights that exist enough to enter into those equities that I believe in and have the ability to scrutinize? Yes, I do. I do. But I do not have 100% of my net worth in the market. Okay. A good majority of it is. And I'm a 43-year-old scrapping young dude Old by some token. I got a lot of 20-year-olds that frequent my channel, and they're like, what in the hell is this guy talking about? I want my Lambo. Get the hell out of my way. Give me my AMC. I'm out of here. Give me my crypto and my AMC, man, and my Tesla. I'm good to go. Get out of my way, Ryan. Independent Investor Channel, man. We only pay dividends on the Independent Investor Channel during times like these, and people are like, I don't know. Maybe Ryan's got something here. I don't know. Maybe he's really suffering on the growth side, but he does talk about that dividend portfolio that he's got, which is probably doing quite well, and it actually is. So I don't want to scare anybody off of investing, but I do want to go over the portfolios real quick, and then I'll jump into questions. We'll rip through this pretty quick. This was actually slightly disheartening, I guess, if there's such a thing in stock market investing. This has rolled off pretty good. The Amazon and the Google still bullish on every one of these. I did liquidate Lockheed Martin 2 days ago. Ran up to the 380s. Went ahead and took that liquidation for a nice profit, and put that cash aside. You'll see here that it's 81.19 to stock to cash on that ratio. So a little bit cash heavy, which is fine. This is right where I want to be. It's no problem at all. But this brokerage account is kind of taking a little bit of hiatus here with Hylion Holdings kind of rolling off a little bit. You know, AT&T has just been in an absolute swoon for 12 months. I mean, it hasn't done anything. And just as of late, with the flow into value, there's been a little bit of activity. Boeing rolled off today. Today was a horrible day. I gave $10,000 to the wine drinking stock gods today. So I hope they're enjoying the grapes and the wine on my behalf. Hey, I'm all good. I'm all good to pick up the tab, baby, every now and then. I'm good. I got Zeus up there like, yeah, Ryan, this is badass, man. Keep investing. You rock. So the stock gods like Ryan. It's all good. The sun will shine on us again. Trust me. It's times like these where I just kind of am like, you're playing with somebody who was probably the most happy in his life when I didn't have money. Okay. So a lot of people might look at my program and say, Ryan, you're a little bit cavalier with your money. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think there's a somewhat of a pedigree of a good stock market investor to be able to 100% separate from their money. And ask yourself, if you are 100% separated from your money, then why the hell does this bother you so much? I'll just give you a sec to chew on that because it's super important. I'm not saying be frivolous. I'm not saying be careless. I'm not saying be cavalier, but there is some element of it is unnatural. And if you can just sit back and say, this is unnatural, Ryan's right. But damn it, it's important to put some capital to work in financial markets. I've known Chevron for many, many years. If I wanted to dabble in the energy space, I would go with looking at these 5 companies, or I wouldn't even mess with it, and I would go with an energy ETF. I own it myself. I own the Vanguard's, I think it's VDE, and I own all the sectors. There's different ways of seeking your exposure, whether it be from diversified passive to the dividend growth strategy, those companies that are, best of breed. Royal Dutch Shell, Chevron, ExxonMobil, which has done quite well, rolled off today. I liquidated that. I liquidated the whole position, held it for 5 years, and I was down well over 50% in the position a couple of years ago. I just liquidated my ExxonMobil more as a positioning type of move. Now, I still own that in my dividend portfolio in a much smaller scale, but in accordance with what I'm trying to do to move my portfolios, the Roths, more passive. That's what I did. I went ahead and liquidated at least the ExxonMobil position. I still hold the Royal Dutch Shell position in my portfolio, as well as the Chevron position. Okay. In the dividend portfolio, I own Valero, ConocoPhillips, Phillips 66, and a couple others. I think Enbridge is in there as well. So a couple others. But here's mine. I've made the $100,000 mark many, many times over. It goes above and down. The real anchor here is Hylion. It's just been an absolute drag. It's down every day. What can I say? Just an absolutely dismal stock performance, disconnected from the company, or is it? I just think we're in an absolute black period right now. And is there a light at the end of the tunnel? I've been in deep water before, guys. And this is kind of the big leagues. If I pull this son of a bitch off, this be interesting. Yep. You want me to get that drink, Ryan? Yep. Yep. I got the next one. I'm good. Yep. We'll be wiser for it. I'm not trying to be dubbed a stock picker here. I'm not trying to be anything special. I am trying to pull off a special move here in that I've done my due diligence. What I see with this company is what I see. And what I see is huge, huge opportunity. And at $4 a share, which is it's embarrassing to say. It's embarrassing for the company. Me, I don't care. Stock market overshoots all the time, disconnect from the company's goings on all the time. It stays in companies and gives way, way too much credence to companies that don't deserve those premiums, right? Happens all the time. Those are the fringes where value is created in the stock market. Hylion Holdings is no different. It's going on right now. Mark my words, if in 6 months it's still at $4, great. It'll be what it is. In a year, if we're trading above 10, it'll be what it is. I was commenting today to somebody, I can't remember who it was, probably a good friend in the Viper group anyway, talking about this stock and looking back and saying, good grief, if this is a $20 stock in 5 years, I can live with that. I really can. If we're talking about a Dana Logistics here that can't get out of their own way, embolden their technology, go on to more of a subscriber type of basis with their customers, no problem. If the best that they can garner is a $20 stock price, and let's say back to about a bill and a half, $2 billion company, maybe even creep into that mid cap category, I'm cool with that, man. I'm cool with that because I think there's going to be a catalyst, man, where this technology really starts to get accepted. And right now, it is not. It's not accepted. It's accepted in some of the smaller applications right now. Hylion is not in a hurry to accept mass order and scale up right now because they are not prepared to accommodate those orders. It's just that simple. All right. Here's the stock for this, the passive portfolio with the sectors that I was talking about. The cool little portfolio here. It's a cool way of investing. I throttle each of these 11 sectors. So you got technology, healthcare, financials, discretionary, consumer, real estate, utilities, energy, all the way down the line, materials, and telecommunications. Okay, so these are the 11 sectors of the S&P 500. Kind of a cool way to put a $20,000 bill to work. We've rolled off just a little bit. No problem. I don't fret. I monitor this. If it pisses me off enough, I'm going to throw another couple of $1,000 in here. Why? Because I've been looking for my opportunity to do so. Well, what have you been doing in the meantime? I've been dollar cost averaging this, guys. It's not rocket science. What do you do in financially volatile markets, Ryan? Continue to dollar cost the markets, right? It's kind of one of those things that I don't enjoy doing as much when the market's at an all-time high. But it's time like this where I'm like, my program's established. I'm contributing 20% out of my pay just to the TSP. Contributing when the market's at an all-time high is like, it's, I guess, a cool thing to do. But as the market's rolling off, I'm buying that stock lower. I'm not retiring next week. How many of you guys are retiring next week? If you are, I'm super stoked for you, man. I'll have a drink for you. Congratulations, well earned. But I'm not looking at it that way. I'm not looking at my life in that capacity. Anyway, I don't consider retirement being one of those things that I'm going to cross that finish line and then 2 years later die. I'll continue to work. It's just that simple. I don't look at retirement as an end sum game. I do have a target date of 59 and a half, a target age, and we'll see where we're at when we're there. I'm well away from that mark. That's just where I'm at. Here's the dividend portfolio holding up well. It's down $100 or so week over week. So this is the one that actually held up quite nicely. Okay. Here's the bond portfolio, the only thing that's up. So this is something that I started just as of late here, contributing to this because it does render me a nice 3% dividend. It's safe. The dividends that are rendered in here and the contributions are why this is up, not necessarily the performance of the bonds at this point. But if they do continue to do well, that'll be great. I want to build this up. I have a strategic goal of 100 grand for this account. So I've got, little less than 99% more to go in this, and we'll be there. So that's the goal. TSP rolled off pretty good, 60 grand. No problem. I looked at the year over year. I think last year's end on this portfolio, I was at $34,000. Mm-hmm. The power of compounding interest and the power of contributing and believing in a plan really is where the focus needs to be all the time. If you start to justify or compromise that long-term plan in the short term by looking at short-term volatility over the last, 3 weeks, let's say even 90 days, as I might suggest, you're doing it wrong. You really are. Buy into a plan that you're comfortable with, stick with it, you're good to go. Growth has been just absolutely atrocious. It's been horrible. Mid caps, horrible. Globex, horrible. Cryptocurrency, ha! I hope this goes to zero. I don't even care. There's the portfolio down probably just shy of 30 grand week over week. Not good for you guys. Now I don't want you to get scared and say, "Wow, this is horrible." If you asked me, oh, I've been self-directed investing for going on about 9 years now. And if you said, Ryan, your number at 43 is going to be 468 or 363, I'd be like, really? How? How the hell you do that? If somebody were to ask me, how the hell, Ryan, how do you do that? I couldn't tell you that there was one singular market moment that I looked at or any certain occasion that the market was just really, really down or crashing that I just put the whole farm on black and went at it. And that was the defining moment in my life. No, I will give you the goods. The goods is that I aligned a program, a structure, a framework that made sense for me. And I've stuck to that. I have evolved upon that foundational framework. I certainly have. I said for many, many years I would not be a cryptocurrency investor. I do have a little dab in cryptocurrency. Since I have invested in crypto, it's been an absolute disaster. It's been a huge mistake. Huge mistake. Why do it? Why waste your time? Why? It's a prime example of me trying to make investing more than it needed to be. Now, am I taking a strategic shot? Could it go up? Do I have the tolerance enough to own crypto long? Yes, I do. And if it's going to transpire and it's going to turn into something special over the next 20 years until I hit that retirement and that crypto's coming out of there, whatever is in there, if 30 cents is in there from the $2,500 I put into the cryptocurrency market, or 500,000 is in there, it's coming out and it's going to direct transfer into my Roth IRA. I'll live to fight another day. What I talk about with the framework, and I didn't have this framework when I first started. Trust me, I was a mutual fund investor when I started. And had I known what I know now about the low expense of self-directed investing, number one, through ETF investing and through single stock investing, see, that's what a lot of people don't understand is that owning my dividend portfolio cost me zero. It cost me nothing. So when I talked at the top of the live stream about the necessity of having somebody in your ear giving you the Vince Lombardi, it's okay, Ryan, don't sell right now. I know you're down in the dumps, man. I know you feel like selling. Just it's okay. Hold in there. If you want to come into my office, I'll talk you into staying the course if that's what because that's what you're paying me for, right? I'm just here to tell you that you can bridge the gap for yourself for your own application to understand that if you put yourself on a program that you believe in, that you absolutely believe in and buy into, you are going to save a fortune over your life, a freaking fortune. Hence, independent investor. That's what it's all about. When we empower one investor to understand that, yes, taking a position in Hylion Holdings on the surface appears to be a cavalier move on my part, or something that is frivolous or reckless, or something that people hit me up and they're like, Ryan, man, you're losing it with me. Like, you need to do this, Ryan, with your money. Like, you need to do this. And I'm like, the mathematics is very, very simple in that I save an effing fortune in my life by investing on my own. Could I have 468 and 662, 498, 662 with a financial planner? I don't think so, because they take a lot of that profit, man. They take a lot of that wealth. They consume a lot of that wealth over time. And that's what I'm trying to get through to people, is that by the nature of the plan that you choose, you can really understand that you can save a truckload of money just by sheer nature of the decision that you make on the onset. Now, does that give you the excuse to be cavalier? No, it doesn't. But if you acknowledge that on the onset to say, you know what, I'm opting for this plan, I have the luxury of being in control of my own fate. I have that luxury. Somebody's not choosing that luxury for me. Going with a financial planner, and even as a self-directed investor, I said this before, said it's easy to be bullish about financial markets when everything is great and everybody's making money. This place is like a party. Everybody comes into the live stream and they're like, this is fabulous. Man, this is awesome. Ryan, we're kicking ass. We're killing it on this stock. We're up 30% on the, we're doing great. And it's times like this, man, where people are like, not so cool, right? And it's those times too where the financial planners, man, they're trained to say, look, just stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. Because what allows those businesses to be present on the corner of every strip mall in this country is the fact that they have billions of dollars in AUM, assets under management, baby. And they make 3% on that investment. Investments that you make, take all the risk on, and they profit from. It should piss you off. Should piss you off. Really. Getting a special treat tonight. A little bit of validation as to why we do what we do. Let me cruise down here, man. I'll go down here. You don't need somebody to tell you how to invest your money. The time has changed. That's why, right? Really appreciate this comment, Tawan. Thank you for making your way in here. Appreciate it. I just jammed to the bottom and picked out the very first comment that I saw. Um, and the products out now can help you build and align the style of investor you want to be with the assets in your portfolio, right? It's a great thing. And we put those different profiles in different boxes for people to say, if you just do your 401k, all right, I understand. But if you wanted to branch into the self-directed realm and say, I want to start an individual Roth IRA account, where should I start? Your start really should revolve around the major indices, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. If you want to look at those, throw some Russell in there as well with some small caps. That's it. You don't need to be looking any further. You're looking to get your start, man. Get those first thresholds that I talk about knocked out. Get that first 500,000, 2,500, 5,000, 10 grand. Get a $10,000 bill in there and prove to yourself that, yeah, okay, I like this. I've proved to myself that, yeah, I can dollar cost average a program and I can make money with investing. Good to go. All that I just explained to you is possible on your own. It is. It's wonderful. And the more years you can chalk up by just buying into that program, funding the market, because you've bought into a philosophy that's been tried and true, proven to work over time, over 100 years of S&P and market historical data. 99% of investors have won over the long term. Now I'm down in Amazon right now. How is that possible? Stock lifetime is up 30,000%. It's just the amount of time that I've devoted to Amazon has been less than 4 or 5 months. I've been in the stock. So it's unfair of me to say, hey, where's my 30,000%, without giving ample time and acknowledgement to that holding to materialize and mature for me over time. Okay. Very cool stuff, man. Got a ton of comments popping in the bottom, but you guys are running. I'm going to try to intervene here in the comments. Okay. I'm going to spend the last 15 minutes on comments on the live stream. Really appreciate it. This has been the most robust, actually, of live streams. Yeah, there's a lot of people here tonight. Jesus. Did I say anything cool tonight? Gosh, I just go on these rants. I watch them back and I'm like, I don't know what in the hell vein. If you ask me to reproduce what it is that I do, there's no way in hell I could do it. It's a one-shot deal. I never know what I'm going to say. I say this all the time, right? So Mike's talking about the value. I totally agree, man. A shout out to Bob. Bob's talking about too much volatility. He's talking about single stock application. And where I was talking about controlling that single stock allocation in the manner that I do with the 80 stock dividend portfolio, I've got a few $100 in each. It's a $30,000 bill in that account, nothing crazy. So you start looking at these. The majority of people out there, guys, cannot envision themselves with $10,000 of wealth. 10, 10, 10. They cannot do it. It's impossible. They get a couple $1,000 and it's like, boom, the new 105-inch TV has just hit the shelves at Walmart, and boom, it's wiped clean. Or the unexpected expenditure comes up, and boom, it's wiped clean. And here, expenditure over here, and the kids got to go to the dentist, and they got to go to the doctor, and the copays, and the this, and the life, and the life, and the life, and the life just keeps throwing darts at me. It's throwing darts at that savings account all the time, and it's always forcing me to scrub it clean. It's always scrubbing. Going to make sure that you're approaching this thing. It's one of my favorite strategies, and that is scale. Scale. You want to be a single stock investor. Ask yourself, how much exposure do you want to the single stock game? Because I think for the majority of people out there, the answer is very, very simple. Don't even dabble with it. Just buy the indices. It's that simple. Buy the ETFs. Buy the S&P 500. You only need one. Don't get cute with it. You want to get cute with it like I have. I just do that to provide validation to show what is possible on a number of fronts, because there are customers out there that want more. I would imagine that there's a lot of investors out there that look at my program and they're like, I like what Ryan's doing. He's a little more hungry. Matt Money said just this week. It was the coolest comment from the week, actually. Matt Money owns it. He said, if you want to be a stock, and I don't want to mess it up, but he was talking about a lot of people want to get involved with stock market investing one time, and then they expect it to be there on the back end 20, 30 years down the line. Stock market investing, if you're doing it correctly, you're engaged. Okay. The best way to do this thing, and here's another nugget, another takeaway for you. The best way to prosper in this is to be engaged. If you're not engaged, or you don't want to be engaged, or you just want the riches without the work, whatever it is, perhaps maybe you should ask yourself the level of dedication you have to this craft. Do you really want to have wealth? I just hit the 10,000. How willing are you to break yourself down and un-F your mind and put yourself on a track to your first $10,000? I can provide as much motivation for you as I can, because I earmark $10,000 as being a very, very critical barrier for a lot of people. If you're working toward that mark, I'm all about it. Get there. You will. Give it time, you'll get there. Okay. But we all know statistics are against the majority of people, just because they don't want to put the first foot in front of the other on that road toward that first $10,000 of invested capital. It's super simple, man. Super simple. You just got to do it. Jared's in the house. Fantastic. Got Ethos in the house talking about Intel. I looked at Intel today. Some of the old tech. I've got the old tech in the dividend portfolio. Stuff that's really interesting. Cisco has come off. Cisco's always been one of my very favorite companies. And I tell you, it doesn't get talked about very often. Intel's really good. It's been overshadowed by the performance of NVIDIA's and AMC, everything in the chip space, to be honest with you. Micron and Lam Research, and really all the chip space has been on fire. Intel's lagged the market, but from a value perspective, I think it's a phenomenal play. Always seeking out those value pockets in the market for sure. And Intel is one of those that you can just chalk away in whatever capacity, and just own it for the rest of your life. You just can own it. It's a company that you really want to be part of. And it's really kind of my vision for the future in leveraging some of the Hylion profits once this investment of a lifetime does materialize. If it doesn't, I won't do this again. I'll park every dollar I have in the indices, and I'll focus my efforts elsewhere. I'll focus my efforts on different money-making ventures. I'm not going to continually look to find that needle in a haystack, and I don't believe I was trying to do that with Hylion. I just look at it with my independent lens, and there's a lot of people that wholeheartedly disagree with my application. That's totally fine. My conviction is right there. It's in the pocket. And it takes some courage to talk about that conviction right now when things are really, really being flushed out in the market. There's no doubt about it. It's great to see you, brother. All the best to you and the family. Very cool. Scroll down real quick. I just want to try to cherry pick some questions if you guys have for me. Give you my best shot. It says 1,500. Yeah, so I've accumulated a little bit this week. I unfortunately both of my put contracts. There's no amount of writing a put contract with premium that would make sense that would have allowed me to not get shares put to me on this downturn. No way, impossible. So both of those blocks got put to me this week. No problem. I keep the premium and I take the shares. I'll buy the shares at $5. I'll buy the shares at $5.50. I have no problem with that. I'm really not expecting the stock to lose 5 to 8% today, which it's been doing. It's down every day. It's down every day. It's really bad. It's really bad. And this is something that is interesting. I was told to kind of lighten up a little bit. Otherwise, the Discord is going to kick me out of there. No, they won't. No, they won't. They won't kick me out. Why? Why would they do that? I'm honest. But I'll be damned if you're going to tell me that I can only talk positive about us. I own the stock. How much more positive do you want me to get? All right. But my scrutiny is valid. It's warranted 100%. If you don't like it and you think somehow I'm picking on them or you want to be a fanboy, no problem. No problem. That's your choice. It's my choice to do it my way. All right. And if I think that we as investors deserve more transparency, I'm going to let them freaking know. If you don't like it, block me. I thought they banned me from Instagram. It seems that they didn't. I couldn't post a comment on their new post in there for a bit, and I came back to it just to confirm that they hadn't blocked me, and they hadn't. It's no problem. Perhaps maybe I'm a little bit edgy. I get it. Perhaps maybe I'm completely wrong and off base. But I've got people challenging me and saying that I don't have the big picture. Really, I don't have the big picture. I like people who talk really super vague like that and they don't have any type of explanation back to me on what big picture I should be seeing. Like, in other words, I don't single out anybody. My stuff is directed right at Hylion Holdings. I don't care what other investors are doing. I care about my position and more so the positions that perhaps might have been influenced by my bullish conviction over YouTube and social media, right? And I take that stuff seriously. No doubt about that. No doubt. And if people are underwater based on a recommendation that I made, hell, I can lose money. I can deal with that myself. But when I say something or lose money, even for somebody that needs to do their own blah, 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 right? No. Look, I do my homework and I do know what I'm talking about. And to be as wrong as I have been on this stock, I have been wrong, right? Never hurts to take a little personal responsibility. I mean, I could stick my head up my ass or stick my nose in a corner and not say anything like some others are doing. Don't say a word. It's okay. You might irritate the big man. Whatever. I find more value in the very fine patrons of people in this community and outside of this community that are working hard every single day to make a living for them and their families. That's where I put money. That's where I put value. I don't put value right now in Thomas Healy's ability to have on-the-job training to learn how to be a CEO and stand the hell up and defend his company. Defend his company. Do something interesting. For sure. Do something. Not nothing. Okay? Do something. Very simple. Says he saw my comment. See, this is the type of thing I'm talking about, man. I'll be a voice. I don't care if they don't like it. No problem. If people don't like it, it's no problem. It's no sweat off my sack. I could care less. Honestly, I could care less. I've said many, many times, I don't do this for a living. So I can say what I want, when I want, how I want. I'm not looking to win over an army of Twitter followers. I don't like, if you don't like me, don't follow me. I don't care. Block me. It's no problem. Block me. It's your loss, not mine. I know where I'm going. I'm freaking fine. Rick knows where he's going. It's freaking fine. We're fine. We're totally fine. I'm not angry. I'm completely happy. I'm a family man, a coach, and a serviceman. I'm completely happy. I'm in my pocket. This is the 60 minutes where I'm the most happy in social media presence, right here, right in the pocket, no other time. When I do become a millionaire, this is what I will do. I will not do uploads, weekly uploads and 10-minute videos and top 3 stock picks to buy. It's a waste of time. Stock market's going to zero. Stock market's crashing. Waste of time. It's a waste. It misleads people. It misleads people in understanding that the core of investing is to understand what it is that makes sense to you, not to scrutinize others, not to point fingers your entire life, but to take a look in the damn mirror. Take a look in the mirror. Take a look in the mirror. They're going to kick you out of the Discord. No, they're not. Rick will defend me all day because I'm the one putting out weekly Hylion videos when, according to Twitter, me and Dex and a few others, PJ's doing a great job. We're the ones that are trying to share the story the way we see it through our lens. And the company in and of itself can't do that on their own. Crazy stuff, man. Look, if they want me to leave, it's no problem. I don't spend enough time in there to be a lieutenant. So it's all right. It's all right, man. I'm a chief in real life. I'm good. I don't need to have a fake badge in a Discord. If I'm not welcome, no problem. But I am. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. All right. Great to see you, Rick. Fantastic. Let me cruise down here, man. See if there's a few. I'll go a little bit overtime tonight. There's too good of a group in here to cut it off. So I'll stay an extra 15 minutes tonight for sure. I think the gents might be traveling to Vegas. I don't even know if they're throwing down right now at all. Down right now, yes, in a position down. Stay true. I don't know the context surrounding that holding. I can tell you that cumulatively, I'm probably around that ballpark as well. I've made a little bit with Hylion on the way up. I've sold a little bit for tax loss. Since then, I've been accumulating. So I'm not really paying too much attention. I'm looking at the position as it reflects to my total overall portfolio. I was just telling somebody, it might have been Rick, actually. It might have been somebody. No, it was the Vipers, Dave. I was talking to Dave today on DM. And I was talking about where I see value in the market, and I scour the landscape, and there's a few stocks I'd like to buy that look good, little pockets of value that I'd like to buy. It killed me to sell Lockheed Martin this week. I didn't want to. It's a great value right here. Some of the banks trading at less than 10 forward, good value there as well. But this company is the one I see value in. Yeah, yeah. SoFi just won its bank charter this week. There's some value there, man, to be had and pick up. I mean, I own a nice position in SoFi too. Go figure. All the growth is down right now, so who the hell am I? I'll be wrong until I'm right. It's just that simple. People can say what they want, say I'm wrong, say I'm an asshole. I'm too tough on Thomas Healy. What? What are you talking about, man? For all the people that want to come on and spread hate through social media, I'm being constructively critical. Could there be lawsuits? Yes. Do they need to stand up and talk? Yes. Do they need to be more transparent? Yes. What is the big picture that I'm missing? Please school me up. Let me know how my tweets offend you. Come on. Jesus, have a little perspective about this guy's man for sure. Says bye, 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 bye. Bye, bye every day. I've been buying Hylion. I picked a little bit up in the VIG, Vanguard's Dividend Appreciation Fund. It's a great fund in my Roth IRA. Not a whole lot of strategic buying going on right now. I did liquidate the Lockheed Martin. That was a couple month position in there, drove it all the way down to 325, rode it all the way back up. So from a channeling perspective, I did well. I sold in the 380s. It rolled off the last couple days after liquidation. I like to see that. That I did exit the position in a pretty good time. Hell, you could buy it at 380. It's 16. It's good. It's great company. I don't care. You could buy Lockheed anytime. It's a good buy. But from a channeling perspective, I was satisfied with my exit there, and it puts a $10,000 bill to the side right now and give me a little bit more buffer in monitoring the market. But I like the philosophy for sure. It's good stuff, man. And Tennis is in the house, man. Great to see you. Thanks for all your support, man. Very cool stuff. I just keep nibbling on a few shares. This is what I'm doing. I'm not getting too crazy. I think I'm being a little aggressive. If I was going to be conservative, I would buy 100-share blocks. The last two put contracts would be put to me at 500 each. I went ahead bought 250 today. Put the share count up to about 10,000, 11,000 even. Mm-hmm. 11,000. Yeah. So for all you home gamers out there that want to know how much Hylion stock I hold, 11,000 is my multiple. It's not a share count. It's a multiple. If the multiple is 11,000 times $4, great. My question to you is, if it's 11,000 times $10, where does that put me? 11,000 times $20, $30, 40, 50. Anybody? 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 Yeah. It's it's expanding your multiple, and the risk to reward at $4 right now for this stock that just 2 years ago was at 58. Should it have been there? No, no, it shouldn't have. But this thing with the projections that they've got, it's good stuff. The risk reward is there. Could it go to zero? It could go to zero. I lose 50 grand, no big deal. A lot of people justify losing 50 grand on a Corvette 5 years after it's worth nothing. Zero. It's worth nothing. You know, a lot of people will justify losing out of $50,000 on interest on a house note with just like, oh, it's so great. Let's go get that bottle of champagne, honey. We're awesome, you know. But I just look at things differently than you do. Okay, take a few pages out of my playbook and deploy them, man. You'll be better off. Trust me, man. Look at money a little bit different. Remember what I said at the top of the stream? I was about as happy in my life when I was by myself. Yes, my family was what makes me happy now. My family is why I do everything. And that's why I thought it was a little bit short-sighted when PJ was talking about it. And we've talked behind the scenes about it. He was like, man, Ryan, your response to me was pretty awesome. He was like, even I don't know if I could have admittedly had that response if somebody was basically calling me angry. but but I said, in that isolated moment, yes, yes, I can appear angry, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. I'm an intense person. In Alaska on the fishing boats, man, you can't be blasé. Hey, can you grab me that over there? No, it's like, hey, give me that, because people's lives are on the line. Safety is on the line. And I was used to that intense of a lifestyle for a long, long time. If the boat's sinking, you can't just kind of be like, I'm going to take a shower and just give me a sec. I'm going to shave. No, it's get your ass out of the forecastle. The boat's going down. If you don't, you're going to die. That's the type of urgency that I've been pressed with on my um, defining who it is that I am as a person, right? And some of the best times I ever had in my life, no doubt about it, being pressed like that and learning what I could take and what I couldn't. This is a stock position, for Christ's sake. Really? Do you think honestly that I look at this as needing effort? Do you honestly think that? Do you think that this is something that I'm just disappointed in, or I'm going to lose sleep over, or somehow I'm not going to be able to provide for my family? Really? It's a stock position. That's it. It's a luxury to be able to invest in the stock market. It is. There's a lot of people that would kill for the opportunity that we have to do what it is that we do, and for the most part, bitch about while we're doing it. Okay? Get over yourself. Have some perspective about this deal. Understand why you're doing what you're doing and how you're going to do it for the long term. It's super important. All right. Let's cruise down here. Matt's in the group. Very cool. What's up, Ryan? Added during these nasty dips. I'd like to know what you're adding, you know, making sure that if you're buying the broad markets that you're not being premature. I've made that mistake a few times anyway, where I'm like, yeah, finally we got a dip in the market here, only to put capital to work right away, and then boom, now we're 20% down. Everybody thinks we're 10% down. The last I checked, we're down 5% on the S&P 500 year to date. That went from January 2. I don't know why. But are we down more than that? I don't know if you guys have the updated calcs on it. I know Ethos probably does, and some other of the sharp investing minds, which I'm not one. But it looked like about 5 to 6% from the top right now that we've adjusted back a little bit. Maybe we are at 10%, and I just I misread that. Hmm But yeah, it's good stuff. All right. Yeah, Christopher's in the house, man. If you set up weekly reoccurring, one for each day using M1, you can dollar cost average. That's such golden advice, man. That is such golden advice. And I don't want to give too much away, but where Chris renders his thoughts to the group, you should listen. If you want to succeed, like I said, I mean, I mentioned the AMC and the Lamborghini and the Tesla route cryptocurrency. That you can do that if you want to. Chris is just offering another way. And there are an infinite number of ways of making sense of the market. This is the one that I get behind. And I do this myself. Thanks, Chris. Really appreciate it. And it's great to see you. Yep, CRM under 215. Great. Qualcomm. Qualcomm is a stock that I have looked at so many times, and the metrics are there. It's such a beautiful, beautiful company. And I don't think outside of maybe a couple times I've owned the stock, I don't own it now. These are some of these companies that, again, I'm just in a little bit of a strategery phase right now in my portfolio. I really am. I've got a lot of conviction right now. I'm actively monitoring Hylion Holdings. I'm fascinated at their prospects, and that's just where I am right now. That's where I want to be. I mean, where am I going to be? Am I going to be fascinated at the prospects of the S&P 500 going to 10,000? Yeah, I mean, in 20 years, sure, it'll be there. But that's not what fascinates me, nor do I believe that that requires any of my brain power at all to put a little money in the S&P. It's where the bulk of my money is. That's no doubt. In my TSP, that's where the bulk of my money is. In my wife's Roth IRA, her largest holding is the S&P 500. And then I've got VIG in my account from a passive perspective. VTI is in our brokerage account. That's how we kind of spread that exposure around. But once this Hylion holding provides me, or hopefully, if it materializes over time, and I believe that it will, the house money that I believe that it can, I will build out a portfolio that will rival all. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's the plan. Mm-hmm. Yes, I will. That is the plan. I think Z is a stock worth gander at. Fantastic. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I'll have to take a look. See. And Sarah, I got one of my Vipers in the group. She's been with me for a long, long time, since the inception of the channel, for sure. I'm giving some nice shout outs here. It's great to see you, Sarah. Fantastic. Been a long while. If the Fed is serious about quantitative tightening, higher rates to fight inflation, uh, we've lower to go until S&P is more fairly valued. I agree. Totally agree. I think it's created this bubble, this frenzy. Laura Gantz talked about this on my interview with him. Think about the last 2 years. Has there been some irrational exuberance going on in the market over the last 2 years? Hmm. Interesting, Ryan. Uh, Yeah, yeah, there has. Even on my part. Sure, I'll just wag it into cryptocurrency, man. This is great. Everybody's whipping some ass. Why can't I? There's no merit. There's no reason to do that. There's no fundamental reason to do that. I have some surplus capital to do that. I get it. But that's kind of arrogant, you know? Just because I have the money, I'm going to throw it frivolously at some dipshit investment. Stupid move. Stupid. Stupid. It's outside of my investing thesis, and we'll see how it works out. Maybe it makes me money. I don't know. I don't care. Stupid, right? Um, yeah, just one of those things. Irrational exuberance, following the meme stocks, AMC, GameStop, things like that. Those types of things. Just they take retail, especially, in a direction that they don't need to go. It's really unfortunate. And I think retail investors, for the most part, are extremely vulnerable. They really are. The sheep analogy that I have all the time. I don't want to offend people, but then again, if I do offend you because you follow all the time, maybe you need to be offended a little bit. Yeah, that was a really sharp comment. SLF Smashful. Where the hell did you get that name? Good grief. It's fantastic. That was a lot of fun. Thank you. Got a couple minutes left. Alexa's in the house. Fantastic. 5G Wi-Fi has proliferated. It's when things really change. Fantastic. It's great to see Alexa. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. I want to cruise down. Yeah. Verge says the Bitcoin current is 36. That's what I said. I think I pulled it out of my memory. I think. Oh, Verge is always keeping me honest. Fantastic. I'm going to have a lot of brothers and sisters here if this Hylion Holdings thing actually works out. I may have a lot of enemies too if it doesn't work out, but no, I believe we're probably in about as dark a period as we can possibly be in with the stock, no doubt. It's really unfortunate why we have to be punished in this manner for taking a conviction on a company. What is the NFT bull crap? It's bull crap. That's what it is. Remember, irrational exuberance. We'll throw that in that category too. 8,000, yeah. Call me crazy, but I'm actually excited, hoping things go. Sure. For a long-term investor, it should not be attractive for you to continually want to buy the market at highs. It's just that simple. It's tough sometimes to say, but you are right. You are right. If your focus is long-term investing, you want this sucker to go into a multi-year swoon, and you'd like to see what we've enjoyed in some capacity, what we've enjoyed over the last 10 years to occur when you approach your retirement age. And if it doesn't, no problem. Just continue to invest the market. No big deal, right? Okay. That's a very smart comment. There's a lot of folks in this live stream. I will comment. There's a lot of folks in this live stream that I do not recognize. So for whatever reason, if you've come in tonight, welcome. I really appreciate the time and couple minutes. I won't go too much over an hour and 15. Usually it's 60 minutes on the nose because YouTube hates me. They don't promote my stuff, which is fine because I'm old and boring. It's no big deal. I don't talk AMC and Lambos and garbage like that. I just talk from the heart, which I think a lot more people need to do. Not sure if I understand NFTs. I don't. Sorry, it's not my thing. Sarah, I think crypto is here to stay, even though it's, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for putting me at ease. That's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say, you're an idiot, Ryan. Why did you do that? Because that's what I expect out of you. You got to keep me honest. No, the truth is I invested in it. It went up really, really fast. I took some really good profit. I was up to like $4,600. What I declared to you guys was less, what, to 2,100, 2,300 right now. Dismal. Gave all the profit back. It was all profit. It's fine. I gave it all back. It's not the end of the world. You know, it is what it is. And got Rebecca in the house. Very nice to see you. Very cool. Market pool guys make it first. Yeah, you're young, and that's the thing, is that's the mentality of the millionaire, is just to look at the opportunity in the market when others are fearful. Not to be cliche, I mean, I can make it my own way if I want. You know, I just think it comes down to thinking not aligned or contrary to the pack. I think that's what it comes down to. If it makes sense to you, then make those buys, and those buys become more conducive as the market rolls off. It's that simple. You know, it's just, the more the market goes down, the more you should be looking to buy the market. It's that simple. And a lot of people refuse to look at it that way, and I just don't get it. That's the way you have to look at it. You have to. There's no, hey, I'm going to sell now and buy back later. It just doesn't work that way, man. But for some, chick also sold her. I guess dumb stuff makes money. Wow. Yeah, I just can't believe some of the stuff, man, going on right now. It's pretty awesome. Calvin's in the house. What's up, Ryan? Yes, you are, my friend. Yes, you are part of it. You are part of it insofar as your successes that you can render for you and your family, you own. It's yours. It's yours. You're just a friend of the channel. That's it. I'm just a fella sharing a story. Nothing special. No big deal. No need to put me or anybody else on a pedestal. I don't do it. Thomas Healy, Same thing. Don't put him on a pedestal either. He's just a CEO of a company. That's it. Okay. He's just as open to scrutiny as anybody else, man. Problem with Hylion is people are emotional, and that leads to bad decisions. Oh, I can agree. I guess a 75% retraction in the stock can probably promote some of those poor emotions. Maybe even where some of them are manifested in myself. This is what PJ was talking about when he watches my videos. He's like, he seems angry, and I told him, I was like, I'm pissed off, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong. Look, I am a human freaking being. Okay, if you want me to just be monotone and just talk like that, elegant, and sit, just be, and everybody's good, and all is good in the world. No, no, that's not my thing. No, there's utter evil in the world. There's really, really good things in the world going on. And when I see a big pile of manure on the side of the road steaming, I will call it for what it is. That's just me. That's just me. You're not going to get anything else than that. If that offends you, leave. Go somewhere else. I'm sorry. Just that simple, man. Brad's in the house here. So many people have panic sold everything these last few days. Oh, I hope you're wrong. You're not. You're 100% right. I think this is what happens. It's fine. Um, it's just the lesson that gets learned over and over and over and over again, and nobody seems to get it ever. And I can't put my thumb on why that is. Maybe a lack of discipline, perspective, understanding and acknowledgement that stock market investing, like I said at the top of the live stream, is somewhat mechanical, man. It's unnatural to watch your money go down and understand that it's okay. It's okay. It's the very nature of why I can declare to you the money and the net worth that I have with the salary that I earn. It's just that simple. It's above average, to say the least. Yep, couldn't agree more. Absolutely. Build them out. Let's roll. There's going to be some catalysts throughout 2022, man. Elaine Chao taking a ride in the Hypertruck ERX is not the catalyst that I'm looking for. But again, I come back to the fact that the Independent Investor Channel just does not have the big picture in mind. I just don't have it. I just don't have it. Okay. Elaine Chao is going to drive the stock price up next week because I don't have the big picture. I don't know. Who knows? Verdict is still out. Keep going with some questions here, guys. Stay with you guys a little bit here. Best analogy I've heard for NFT. Oh God, Rebecca, geez, I'm gonna leave this alone because I don't understand it. I'm still trying to understand why I wasted 2,500 on cryptocurrency. He needs to be more like Elon. I was gonna say he needs to roll something up and lighten up a little bit, man. Seriously, like straight up. When Elon did that, everybody was like, a CEO can't do that. Everybody loved it. They freaking love. Hey, the guy's a human freaking being. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't mind going on and rapping with Joe Rogan. You know what I'm saying? And hotboxing the place. And being a human freaking being and standing behind the company that he built. If this truly is his brainchild, defend it. I would. Why not? And I just think that, they're scared of saying the wrong thing. Bullshit. Get out of my face. Stop being a pussy. I bought the S&P, the PE. Yep. Very good. Very good. Very good. Can interview Thomas Healy, CEO again. To be honest with you, man, you know what I would just love to do is if they requested to come on the Independent Investor Channel, and they won't. They won't. I've probably created and severed way too many ties, and that's totally fine. I don't invest in a company to be their goddamn friend. I don't do that. Okay. But I honestly feel like if they asked me to come on the channel, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, would love to just decline the shit out of that invite. Just decline it. F you. I'm good. You had your opportunity, man. And I don't think Thomas Healy needs to be coming on YouTube at all. I'm a stock owner. Go on CNBC or nothing. Go on Yahoo Finance. That's totally fine. You need to be going on reputable media stations, not YouTube channels. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who like my coverage of YouTube, but I am a YouTube channel. Okay, um, I I have I have the ability. If you want to come on and subject yourself to my scrutiny, I have the ability to turn that interview into something special because I know the questions that are going to generate churn, not this whole, please, Thomas, tell us about the company. No, no, I can drill down on that bitch. There's no doubt about it. Be quite honest with you, man. And I won't do another one of the. There's some people that were offended by the last thing I did. I thought it was funny as hell, and I thought it was very prudent, and I would do it again. I might do it again. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. But as far as actually having Thomas Healy actually on the channel, I think we're probably. I don't know. JMac Investing seems to think he's got it all locked down for his third interview. I think that's great. Do it. I'm happy for you. It makes no difference to me. I'm not doing it to build my channel. I'm not doing it to hype my channel up. I'm not doing it to, so I can't scrutinize the company. Bullshit. And I'm going to scrutinize if I want. It's just that simple. I don't cater down to anybody, nobody. And I would love to decline that request, to be honest with you. hmm I'm proud. I'm proud of my project. I'm proud of what I stand for, man. Yeah, the Hylion videos is another thing. It's like I've never been told thank you. I put in my invitation to the channel. A lot of people don't know the communications that I have behind the scenes with Hylion, right? Especially when Lewis that was there, and Lewis isn't there anymore. So who's filled his spot? Nobody. Okay, yeah, I guess it's not important. It's just about those dumb retail investors. Who needs to cater to them? They're a bunch of morons. Who cares? Let's just keep doing our thing and burning capital, and we'll address it in 2 years, right? But of all the time and the effort that I put out there on social media, you would think at the very least I deserve, whether or not I get is another question, but deserve a thank you. Yep, that's what I think. Yep. Lack of news coming out of the company. That's why I do it. I wish I didn't have to. I do it because I feel like the churn of the company, and I'm not one of those guys that can sit back and just take it like a whipping boy. I don't like to do that. I like to try to defend the conviction that I think is being missed. Why is it that Dexter is driving a truck in the sands of the Permian Basin, and he is the one sharing that story? Why in the hell can't a $750 million company do that on their own? Why? It's because I don't have the big picture. I get it. I don't have the big picture. You're right. Dexter should be he should be expected to do that on behalf of Hylion Holdings. And Ryan with the Independent Investor Channel, he should be expected to do that for free. Yeah. And we should just like expect it insofar as we can't even give him a response on Twitter. Nobody gets a response on Twitter. Nobody. We're all just tweeting to a vacuum. Nobody responds. I can say what I want. Oh, you don't have the big picture. No, you don't have the big picture. They're not listening to anything we're saying. Get with the program. I tweet every night, all day, every day, and I hate it. It's stupid. It's your job to do that, and they can't do it. So what gives, right? The only time a Twitter comes through with Thomas Healy's face, it's not him doing that. It's not him. It's his IR. It's not him. Okay? Trust me, it's not. And then there's a bunch of people that flood it with a bunch of hate, and there's never one single response. Never. But I'm missing the big picture. Oh man, having some fun tonight for sure. We're gonna go for another 7 minutes. I'm gonna do my first hour and a half for a while. I used to do these 2 hours. A lot of fun. Used to get the diesel engine cranking up. I used to do them for 2 hours straight. It's been good knowing you guys. See you in the next bull run. Fantastic. Thank you, RK. Fantastic. It'll happen when you least expect it. Victor, great to see you, my friend. Thank you so much. A much needed therapy. That's fair enough. Yeah, all right. Get a little motivation. A lot of people want to talk about sports, and a lot of people want to talk about everything else. I want to talk about stock. That's what I want to talk about. It's my interest, and as long as you benefit from it, I'm happy with that for sure. Ryan, I liquidated Lockheed at 379. Yeah, I think I was above 380. I did the liquidation at a good time. It was really just a portfolio positioning to salvage. I mean, everything is down right now. It was a really poor week for me, really poor. But like I said, you never make money until you sell. The only sell I had this week was Lockheed Martin. That's it, and I made money. I'm paper losses on everything else, but I'm happy with my positions. I'm not selling Amazon. I'm good. I've always wanted to own Amazon. I do now. I'm happy. I'm fine. Eric says I'm still buying. Very simple philosophy, man. Stocking up on Hylion at 350 could sink to $1. Yeah, I would be lying if I said I wouldn't care about that. Do I see it happening? No. Should it happen? No. No, it shouldn't. Yeah, these are some of the fickle things that are getting somewhat trying, I think, in investing in these times. When I first started investing, it seemed like the market, if it went up 50 points or down 50 points, that was a big day. Now it's up 500 or down 500 in a day, and every day is the same. And there's people on Wall Street making killer money off of that volatility. If it doesn't move, they don't make money. They don't make money on lack of volatility. They make it when it's swinging all the way. I got a couple more minutes here, guys. I'm cruising down through. Strip says, "Nice job." I was there selling at 379. Interesting. Good job, fellas. I mean, it was 325 a couple weeks ago, and it just shot up nicely. Went up every day. It was nice. It was really nice. All right, Walmart's planning to go green. Yeah, I saw this. It's huge. I think it was you actually I saw. It might have been a silent alert where I picked up that information from somewhere on social media. And if it was you, thank you, because that was a big connection, very nice connection. Uh, I don't know if they got a 1,500 initial order, non-binding from Walmart, would that move the stock? It'd be to 10 overnight, easy. Easy. These things can jump and they can jump quick for sure. Until it happens, it hasn't happened. Can it happen? It sure can. It sure can. And thinking anything other is pretty short-sighted, especially those folks that are coming in saying it's absolutely doomed. I don't get that. Company's not doomed. The company is not going anywhere. It's got plenty of cash on the books to continue. And I don't, Paul made a good point on his video about Hylion this week, talking about people put too much credence in that cash. They sure do. I totally agree with him on this. He's right on the money. Um, but it is a positive for the balance sheet and what they're trying to do. It does extend what he was talking about there with about the 2 to 3 year time horizon for SPACs to either make it or fall away. Hylian's got a very, very strong cash position and a very capital lean business that they run. In other words, they can run this business very lean for a long, long time because the strength of their business is integrating with the OEMs. If they can't do this, the business fails. If they can, it's lights out. It's lights out. No doubt about that. Okay. All right. Let me cruise down, make sure I got everything here. Is there pressure from big oil? There could be. You could be onto something there. We'll see. I think something fishy's going on. I just can't put my finger on it. When PJ said, "You look mad, Brian," it was like, yeah, well, I just feel like something awry is happening here. Why is everybody so interested in this company? Are they afraid of it failing, or are they afraid of it succeeding? That's the scarier question, I think. All right. What's your average dollar cost for Hylion? It's below 10 now. Mm-hmm. It's I've got multiple blocks of the shares, all the way ranging from 20 all the way down into the fives here this week, and maybe the fours today, actually, were some buys. But the average cost is probably around, I just looked at this today, $9.32, something like that, which is irrelevant when I look at my bullish conviction on where I think the company will go 9, 4, 11, 15, 20. I don't care. It's a basing position at the onset of a company that I think is going to be relevant, very relevant on a global stage in 10 years. So we're getting in on the ground floor of a company that is going to make some moves in the industry. So thank you for that question, Young. Appreciate you. All right. Adrian's in the house. I don't know, but I just keep buying the Hylion, rapidly getting my DCA at the current price. Wow. Yep. Remember, Amazon was once below. Yep. Absolutely. Stock market investing, man, very few people have the conviction. I'm trying to kind of coach you through, and you guys know I own the position too. Um, and so I'm trying to coach you through my mentality as well with it. And man, the lessons that we, myself included, will learn from the evolution of walking through this trade together and investment together will be invaluable. It will be invaluable. You cannot pay any amount of seminar to get this type of tutelage in stock market investing than the one that you'll get by owning Hylion holdings, man. It's just that simple. Hylion will suffer till sales begin. I totally agree. If not, it's been suffering. I think the market is calling bluff a little bit for the sake of it, and I don't think Hylion is helping their case either. To be honest with you, it's part of the angle that I play on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Independent investor, but look at it this way: once you retire in the not too distant future, you will start collecting that good. That's a really, really good, valid point. How do I make this sound like that I can turn it back and make it apply to you guys? Perhaps owning 11,000 shares of Hylion doesn't make any sense at all for you, but does owning 100 make sense? Does a $400 investment in this company make sense for you? Why do I say that? A lot of people come and they throw sticks and stones at me for doing what it is that I do with my program. I do with my program, and they're always interested in what I do. Spend a lot of the majority of the time looking at what I do, where I spend zero time looking at what others do anyway. But I do have that on the backside, right? And it does absolutely speak to why I justify doing what I do. Not to say that it's okay to just frivolously throw money away. It's not okay. But for me and my purpose and why I feel like I was put here and why I feel like this is my opportunity, this one. And it's not going to be easy. It never is. Nothing in life is easy, but this makes 100% sense to me. And I need to get this thing up to something a little more comfortable. Right now, it's tough. It's very, very tough. But you're right. I do have that assurance on the back end, and it's something that I'm very, very proud of. It's well earned. I bust my ass at work. There's no doubt about it. I work very hard. I work with a lot of people half my age. I can run circles around them. It's just that simple. I work very, very hard, and I teach a lot of people how to work hard, and it's a good thing. This is just a stock holding, no more, no less. It doesn't make up for deficiencies in my life. It doesn't supplement things I do good that have nothing to do with the stock market. It just is what it is. It is a stock holding. That's it. And for the very reason that you point out here, which I'm really glad you did, it helps people understand like, wow, you own a huge position. You must be doing really well on the independent investor channel. No, not really. It makes sense for me right now. It just makes sense. The real give back to you guys is to make this thing make sense for you guys in your financial journey. What makes sense to you? Is it 11,000? Maybe not so much. Is it maybe 100 shares? You know, maybe not. Maybe single stock scares you to death. And listen, that's all right too. That's all right too. Guys, I want to appreciate you, man. We had a hell of a gallery in here. We held over 100 all night. I haven't done that for a while. Really appreciate it, man. I freaking that's really what keeps me going, man. It pumped me up almost to go for an hour and a half tonight. It's a give back to you guys. Stay strong in the markets, man. Nothing that happens in the short term in the markets have any ramification on your decision making on what you should do from day to day and it's just only going to compromise your long-term program. It really is. Monitor the markets. Be a steward of the market. Pick your opportunities where you can. Super, super important to do that. But be steadfast on this program. Would invite you to subscribe to the channel, man. Join our Viper group if you want. We provide those opportunities. All of them are on the front page of the YouTube channel. Take them if you want. If not, continue to be a guest on the live stream, man. This is the right when I'm in the pocket speaking to individual investors, man. You get the most benefit I lay it all on the line for you guys, for your benefit, man. Just looking to empower one investor at a time, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We'll catch you next Friday.